sultan kudaran, nagkaisa at nagkabulong, iwan ay di nabuyong. Nais naming ipabati, kami lahat magkakapatid. Sa sultan kudaran naming mahal, ibig namin inaalala.
To Sir Bernie Dividanyo, Head Teacher 2. Ma'am Clarita R. Ponce, Master Teacher 2. Ma'am Annalyn Brillantes, Teacher 3. Ma'am Veronica Dizon, Teacher 3. Ma'am Jima Lacaminto, Teacher 2. Of course, to our debaters, to my pupils. A pleasant morning to each and every one of us. This morning we'll be having our debate as part of our requirements in 21st century teachers. As our final requirements before we'll be having our Rivalida. So once again, good morning and good luck to all. Good luck to our debaters, both in affirmative and negative side.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are here today to witness a debate about the restoration of the death penalty in the Philippines. I know that it is a discussable issue and it is known to all of us that momentarily Senate of the Philippines is trying to discuss the proposal for the restoration of the death penalty in the Philippines because it was strongly stated by our President Rodrigo Roa Duterte that he really wanted to restore the death penalty in the Philippines in relation to his war on drugs. At the present juncture, I am positively thinking that we can hear lots of opinions and ideas about this current issue. With this, it will help enlighten our minds if death penalty in the Philippines will be restored or not. From affirmative side, Rizal Kilaton, leader. Aya Grisha Arosa, speaker number 1. Mia Amor Esteves, speaker number 2. And James Benedict Villarta, speaker number 3. From negative side, Lauren Grace Espinorio, leader. Sunshine Murillo, speaker number 1. Saira Kate Pani, speaker number 2. And Princess Grace Dian, speaker number 3. At this point, I would like to acknowledge the jury who will judge and decide the winners for the best speaker, best debater, and of course the champion for today's debate. Thank you so much, jury, for being with us and gracing this occasion. Jury number 1, Sir Bernie Dividanyo, Head Teacher 2. Ma'am Clarita R. Ponce, Master Teacher 2. And Ma'am Annalyn B. Brillantes, Teacher 3. Being the moderator, I'm requesting everybody to please observe silence, so that we can understand fully the ideas and opinions to be shared by the speakers and debaters. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let the debate begin. To the distinguished jury, our dear opponents, ladies and gentlemen, have a blissful morning to everyone. We on the affirmative side will strongly agree the restoration of the death penalty in the Philippines for the following reason. Our system of criminal law is to minimize human suffering by words or order primarily to forestall violence or aggression. In the question of the death penalty, we must ask ourselves which action will serve the true humanitarian purpose of criminal law. We should weigh the death of the convicted murderers against the loss of life of these victims and the possibility of potential victims to murder. In arguments, about. Too much emphasis is placed on the convicted murderer, the one being executed, and the victim is all forgotten. Crime rate increase. Millions are being killed and will be killed because our justice system is not working. Millions have already been killed and will be killed every year. According to Time magazine, there are 200 people beaten in the United States. Some are knifed, shot, or assaulted. Crime growth has been going up in the past because of too much leniency going hand in hand with the increased rate of people being victimized. There are many loopholes devised for offenders, and being of the crime rate has increased drastically. Between 1960 to 1968, crime rate increased 11 times. More and more people are being murdered, raped, assaulted, knifed, and drugged. Most people have a natural fear to death. It's a trait man have to think about what will happen before we act. If we don't think about it consciously, we will think about it unconsciously. Think if every murderer who killed someone died instantly, the homicide rate would be very low because no one likes to die. We cannot do this, but if the justice system can make it more swift and sober, we could change the law. To make capital punishment faster and make appeals a shorter process. The death penalty is important because it could save the lives of thousands of potential victims who are at stake. In a footnote, Badu, 1982 cites, actually being dead is no different from not being born. A non-experience we all had before being born, but death is not realized. The process of dying, which is a different matter, is usually confused with it. In turn, dying is feared because death is expected. Even though death is feared because it is confused with dying. Death is an experience that cannot be experienced and ends all experience. Because it is unknown as it is certain. Death is universally feared. The life of a man should be scared to each other. Badu H. 1982. Hugo A. Badu, 1982 states, one popular objection to capital punishment is that it gratifies the desire for revenge, regarding as unworthy. The Bible quotes, the Lord declaring vengeance is mine. Romans 12:19. He does legitimize vengeance and reserve it to himself. However, the Bible also enjoins, the murderer shall surely be put to death. Numbers 35:16-18. Recognizing that the death penalty can be warranted, whatever the motive. Religious traditions certainly suggest, no less all religions, being have life is scarce. If we deprive someone else's life, he only suffers minor inconvenience. Hence, we cheapen human life. This is where we are at today. Death penalty deterrent effect. If we do not know whether the death penalty will deter others, we will be confronted with two uncertainties. If we have death penalty and achieve no deterrence effect, then the life of convicted murderers has been expended in vain. From the deterrent point of view, here is net loss. If we have the death sentence and deter future murderers, we spare the lives of future victims. The prospective murders gang, too, they are spared punishment because they were deterred. In this case, the death penalty is a gain, unless the convicted murderer is valued more highly than the unborn victim or victims. Capital punishment is not in system, and necessary punishment for those who knowingly always prepared to equal. Justice cannot permit sparing some guilty person or punishing some innocent ones for the sake of equality because others have been spared or punished. In practice, penalties could never be applied if we insisted that they can be inflicted on only a guilty person unless we are able to make sure that they are equally applied all other guilty persons. Anyone familiar with law?
Most respected jury, our dear opponents, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all. We on the negative team will strongly oppose the restoration of the death penalty in the Philippines. We would like to lay our opinions about this. How to debate the death penalty on the negative side, please help. For the worst crimes, life without parole is better for many reasons. I'm against the death penalty, but not because of sympathy for criminals. It doesn't prevent or reduce crime, because a whole lot more than life in prison. And worst too of all, risk execution of innocent people. The worst thing about these errors, the system can make target mistake in 2004. The state of Texas executed Cameron Wilhelm for starting the fire that killed his children. The Texas Forensic Commission determined that the arson testimony that led to his conviction was based on flawed science. As of today, 139 worldly convicted people on death row have been executed. DNA is really available in homicide, often irrelevant as in Wilhelm's case, and can guarantee we want executed innocent people. Capital jury are donated by people who favor the death penalty and are more likely to vote to convict, keeping killers of the state straight for good. Life without parole on the books in 49 states, all except Alaska, also prevents re-offending. It means what it says, and spending the rest of life locked up, knowing you'll never be free, is no picnic to big advantage. An innocent person serving life can be released from prison. Life without cause less than the death penalty caused a surprise to many people. Study after study has found that the death penalty is much more expensive than life in prison. The high cost of the death penalty are for the completed legal process with the largest cost of the pre-trial and trial stage. The point is to avoid executing innocent people. The tremendous expenses and a death penalty case apply whether or not the defendant is convicted, let alone sentenced to death. Criminal reduction. Difference. The death penalty doesn't keep us safer. Homicide rates for states that use the death penalty are constantly higher than for those that don't. The most recent FBI data confirms this. For people who lack a conscience for or being caught in a best difference, who gets it? Contrary to popular belief that death penalty isn't reserved for the worst crime, but for defendants with the worst lowers, it doesn't apply to people with money. Practically, everyone sentenced to death that had to rely on an overworked public defender. How many people with money haven't been executed? Victims. People assume that families of murdered victims want the death penalty. Impose it isn't necessary, so are against it no moral grounds. But even families who have supported the death penalty in principle have testified to the damage that the death penalty process does to families like theirs and that life without parole in Akushin. Alternative. It comes down to whether we should keep a system for the sake of retribution, revenge, and the truth it isn't effective in reducing violent crime. Costs much much more than alternatives, and worst of all, can be linked to the nightmare of executing someone for a crime he didn't commit. You should be thankful the against side is weak. Easier the argue sides that facts are on your side. Here are some points you'll want to make, and the website below has tons of back up and through. Mistakes happen. Since 1973 in the U.S., 138 people have been released from death row with evidence of their innocence. These are all people who were found guilty beyond a responsible dose. A life sentence is reciprocal and execution is not. Cost. Because of the legal oppression designed to minimize wrongful execution and the enormous expense of death row excarceration, it costs much more to execute someone than do in prison than for life. It is not that different. Violent crime rates are constantly higher in the death penalty jurisdictions. It is inconsistently and arbitrarily applied because the U.S. is one of the last remaining nations with capital punishment. Many other countries refuse to extradite non-criminals who should be standing trial here, and foster a culture of violence by asserting and killing an unacceptable solution to the problem. Jesus was against it. See Matthew verse 7 and verse 5, 38 to 39, James verse 4 and 12, Romans verse 12, 7, 21, John verse 8, 7, and James verse 20. Life without parole, LWOP, is on the books in most states now, all except Alaska. And it means what it says. People who get this sentence are taken off the street for good. As Voltaire once wrote, let the punishment of criminal be useful. A hunchman is good for nothing. A man condemned to public works still serve the country, and is the living person, whether a wanted criminal or a government respecting to the people killing another human being is wrong. Period. He's dead at first. It's not a valid excuse. That's funny that they're asking you to debate against something that you have no feeling for. Anyway, there are several points to expand on. The first is truly spiritual, feeling that if the USA is the nation under God, they need to recognize that the death penalty is unseen and that killing someone is playing God just as suicide the other. Pointers are the person being fought than actually not suffering or paying for their crime all that much, because when you're dead, you don't feel anything. If you're the final one that it precise is the death penalty called be served a criminal which communicate with country. They're no better than the murders themselves. There is the obvious. What if it turned out the command and innocent? 2. Many people believe the death penalty is the state's sanctifier. 3. What if the family of the victim wishes to comfort the convicted for closure and forgiveness? Many people cannot move on until they do this final step. How many of the person is dead? For no country should be allowed to put its own citizen to death. In the history of the United States judicial system, no guilty person has ever been put to death. It is wrong to kill another human, no matter the situation of the circumstance is not wrong. How having said that, I believe there are times when it's satisfied still wrong made for justified. This won't be station of self or family defense. This is based upon a need to kill or be killed. A person has the right to defend himself or someone else, a loved family member or stranger. To the death nursery is not nursery to put death a person on death row. It is already confined and danger to anyone, so their no need killing someone is not a good thing.
penalty in other countries are useful and effective, like in Hong Kong and Singapore. Take Singapore for example. In Singapore's law system, anyone who commits crimes which are associated with drugs would face only one kind of sentence: death penalty. Singapore has been considered a better place to live than other countries. And so, if it will be applied in the Philippines, our country is also a better place to live because death penalty can prevent some of the crimes from the society. We beg to propose.
Thank you so much. We on the negative team strongly oppose this. First, I will refute the affirmative team, then I will give our point. The affirmative team said prevent. It is not always true. The Middle-East countries such as Iran has extreme laws against terrorists. But they still exist and kill innocent people. I have refuted the affirmative team, now I will give our point. Death penalty violates the human rights. Human rights are basic rights and freedom to which all humans are entitled. On the other hand, all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. I believe that there always have better solutions to serious crime, but not just murder. Then we beg to oppose.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. My team is proving that death penalty should be restored in the Philippines. First, I will refute the negative team's point, and then I will support my partner's point. The negative's first point was death penalty violates the human rights, but it's not important. It is not fit for those who killed people again after they have been released from prison. If people kill someone, he should be punished because he doesn't have rights to take away others' life. Well, I have refuted their point. Now, let me support my team. Death penalty can save money than life imprisonment. According to the Journal of Prison Reform of the USA, there's claims it is more expensive for the state to execute a criminal than to imprison him for life. Furthermore, why should we offer places and food for criminals? That's why we beg to propose. Thank you. We are the negative team strongly opposed to opponent's statement. They said the death penalty can save more money than life imprisonment. This is not necessarily true because the cost for capital punishment is more than the cost of life imprisonment. A 1998 study by State Defenders Association showed that the cost of trial-seeking capital punishment is more than double the cost of trial-seeking imprisonment. I refuted the affirmative team. Now I will give our point. Education and criminal, it is very true that to err is human, to forgive is divine. Only God who will not make mistake. When people do things wrong, we should try hard to forgive. Because all people make mistakes. Education is the key to a prisoner's reform. Our prisoners can be better future citizens. Educate them while they are prisoned to make the reform a success. For this reason, we beg to oppose. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We on the affirmative team will strongly propose that death penalty should be restored in the Philippines. But before giving another point, I would like to refute the negative point of view. The education and criminals, the negative team is talking about forgiveness to the criminals, but they have no idea how to solve the crime rate in the Philippines. Crime growth has been going up in the past because of too much leniency going hand in hand with the increased rate of people being victims. Millions are being killed and will be killed because our justice system is not working. Now that I have reviewed the view, I would like to give our last point, and that is having a death penalty is no purpose of justice. I will explain that it's no use to show our mercy to evil people, especially those drug addicts who kill brutally their victims. Their barbaric act will not be easily forgiven. That's why we beg to propose.
Thank you, our dear opponents. We strongly refute your view about the restoration of death penalty in the Philippines. You have said that its restoration is the purpose of justice. This is not always true because the execution of death penalty is same as to murder another person. The result of death penalty is the one more dead body, one more sad family, and one more brave family. Now, I have reviewed your view. To us, it is wrong to kill another woman, no matter situation or their circumstance. It is really wrong. Killing someone is not a good thing.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We have been debating the resolution. Death penalty should be restored in the Philippines. Do the negative team and us have been debating so hard for this topic. We affirmative team still have more powerful support to win this debate. Let me show you about it. Our first point is prevention. We win this because the negative team has been talking about forgiveness of the criminals, but they have no idea how to solve the crime rate to try to give the whole society a vivid method. To keep people from breaking laws to claim one death row when one commits a severe crime seems to be a better choice than thinking about forgiving. They lost their second point, progress and democracy, because they give an example that was biased. They said Iran has harsh law to terrorists and it doesn't work out, which proves that they still need death penalty to maintain order. So how could a society in chaos need death penalty but approving their democracy in the same time? We win the third point, justice. Since the negative team didn't give an answer for relieving the victim's family, how could they forgive a person who just taking their beloved one? As easy as a slogan, we human beings have feelings, and our emotions can really affect our behavior. If the love person that harm others for selfish reasons, we affirmative team have clear shown our advantage to the resolution. So, we beg to propose.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We have been debating the resolution that penalty should be restored in the Philippines and have clearly shown that this is not true. Let's look at the major points of this debate. The alternative points were prevention, cause, and justice. They lose the point about prevention because they never showed how debate penalty can prevent crimes. The example they give, such as Singapore law system, are not relevant in that penalty violates the human rights and abusing that penalty shows a country made much progress and democracy. They lose their point about cost because they never said about the real statistics that can prove that penalty to save money for the government. They respond that death restoration of this penalty is same now as the murder. Our most important point was human rights. We win this point because they never gave my support to my human rights. That's really against death penalty. This is the most important point that we have to concern. We win this debate because the most important point is human rights. We have clearly won this point. Therefore, we strongly oppose today's resolution.
Issues on the death penalty is one of the most debatable in the criminal justice system. Today, we have heard the pros and cons given by the debaters. If we weigh the arguments properly, maybe some of us will be more inclined to favor capital punishment because we empathize the victims. Death penalty helps to curtail future murderers, thus we can save innocent lives, as the affirmative side proposed. On the other hand, there are also personal, political, and spiritual reasons to oppose capital punishment. Killing another human is not the best option as the negative side opposed. By this time, let's listen to the findings of our juries. At this moment, I would like to ask the jury to declare the best speaker, best debater, and the champion for today's debate.
A pleasant morning to each and everyone. So this morning, we have witnessed the debate 2016 regarding restoring death penalty or not in our country. We have heard the great ideas and opinion of both parties, the affirmative party and the negative party. The negative party stands for their own ideas, while the affirmative party also stands for their own idea. In our country today, we are in the democratic country, and we have existing laws being followed by our people, and that laws was written in our constitution. But then, as we observe, because we are keen observer of the real situation in our country, as we observe today, there are so many criminals lose the lives of others. And basing on the previous administration of our president, wherein we are prevailing the so-called democratic way of living, there are more existing criminals happen in the Philippines. For me, based on the ideas presented by both parties, I really agree to propose the death penalty just to eliminate and eradicate criminal cases in the Republic of the Philippines.
So we have heard the reasons of the two teams. For the affirmative group, so with the death penalty, our country will be in order. And according to the negative group, death penalty is a violation for human rights. So as per observation, our country today, our country is in chaos. And even our justice system is in question. Who would be followed? Because the reputation of our justice system, even in the previous administration, there are actions which are more of illegal and are just only found out today, or we don't know if these are issues or these are true. But based, actually our country is a religious country, but the propositions of death penalty would depends what depends on the Congress or the officials of our country. But basing on your debate, as what we have observed, so we have criteria where our decisions are based, and some of these are your presentation of your ideas. Is it convincing? Do you convey your ideas clearly? So we have agreed, the three of us have agreed, not on to base our decisions on your presentation, not on our own perception about death penalty. So our chairman, Sir Bernie, will give us after this the final decision.
Congratulations, debaters, for clearly presenting your own ideas. As I observe, the affirmative and the negative side present your own opinion, whether death penalty will be restored or not. As we observe here, the negative side strongly present their ideas than the positive side. So, as my observation only, so the affirmative side presents their ideas clearly, which make us convinced to go with them. So, congratulations for the positive side. And I just also give the microphone to our chairman to proclaim the best debater and the champion for this debate.
So once again, good morning. So the three jury comes up to the one decision. And our final decision, consolidated decision of the three juries, goes to the affirmative side. And this time, ladies and gentlemen, we will proclaim our best debater. 2000 best debater goes to Rysel Kilaton. Best speaker goes to Amor Esteves. So that's all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much in behalf of the batch 5 and class 12 of the Senior Inotech for the first 21st century teachers. So we would like to extend our thanks to Ma'am Ana Brillantes, to Ma'am Clarita Arpons, and of course the chairman of the jury, our head teacher, to Sir Bernie Dibidanya. And of course, to the debaters, the speakers, to our moderator, to our pupils, to Ma'am Jima Lacaminto and Ma'am Veronica Dizon as our photographer and our video woman. Thank you so much, and may God bless us all. Mabuhay tayong lahat.
Ang problema kaya nagkalubat-lubat.
Ay, karami.
Congrats. At least nag-present ka sa
Gani, ganda.
Kami mga Pilipino, tubo sa Sultan Kudarat, nagkaisa at nagkabuklod, iwan niya'y tinaguyod. Nais naming ipabati, kami lahat magkakapatid. Sa Sultan Kudarat naming mahal, ibig namin inaalay. Kami mga Pilipino, tungo sa Sultan Kudarat, nagkaisa at nagkabuklod, iwan niya'y tinaguyod. Nais naming ipabati, kami lahat magkakapatid. Sa Sultan Kudarat naming mahal, ibig namin inaalay. Bisig pag-isagin sa lahat ng bithin, ang lakas pag-ibayuhin, disiplina'y pairalin. Sultan Kudarat, sa gisag ng baging